Look, if you take pictures and if you use flash, you've got a picture somewhere where somebody's got devil eyes, red eyes looking at you. Or maybe you have a dog. If you have a dog, you'll get those, what is it, like green, weird, green glowing, scary eyes. You can fix them. To show us how, DV Garage's Alex Lindsay. Now you're going to start with a picture sent to us by some viewers.
Yeah.
With red eyes.
Demon eyes.
And by the way, do you know how that happens?
Yeah, this is actually a reflection. Now, it's different between animals and people, but the people, we get red eye.
Right.
And that's from the reflection of the flash on the retina.
It's bouncing back.
It's actually bouncing back.
Why is it green or yellow in an animal?
In the dogs, they're to amplify the light so they can see at night. They actually have a lot of reflection that they actually go into. So it'll actually be much brighter.
Would this technique work for both?
No.
Okay.
So it really works for people. If you want to,
for red
I
people.
have gotten a lot of dogs. The dogs is mostly a lot of painting in the eye.
Just drawing in the eye. But you know, the nice thing is, it doesn't really matter if you draw in a dog's eye. Okay.
Yeah.
People, they want to say, I want to see my eyes.
Right.
All right. Well, is there actual eye color in there somewhere?
There is. Well, there's eye detail. There's not necessarily color, but we can switch this. Now, I'm going to show this in both Photoshop Elements and Photoshop because it's a very different process.
Now, Photoshop Elements, like many programs, has automatic red eye correction.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit more power in Photoshop, but it's a little more complicated.
All
so
right.
okay. So
let's take a look.
With Photoshop Elements, you pretty much have you have a red eye. We have a red eye brush tool. So there actually is a tool in Elements that'll do this. Now you can say, it's sampling this current up here. Is sampling what anywhere I drag, it's changing. This is the replacement color. So I can make this, I can give him blue eyes, I can give him green eyes. You wanted to make it mostly pretty dark, but in some color. So we're giving him like a subtle blue, tint to it.
So this doesn't have an automatic where you just select it and do it?
Well, when you select that brush, all you do is you just go in here and you just...
Oh, I get it. But so it's a little bit different tool because it's what kind of opaque? It's kind of transparent?
What it's doing is it's only changing the color. It's identifying the red and changing the color, but it's not like painting
so
over
the pupil's the same.
See, if we grab the brush and make it a little smaller,
small brush.
give him a really big eyes. And we started painting.
Color it over.
It would just wipe out everything. Well, that's
you don't really
the brush is really low opacity, but it would blow the whole thing out.
Right,
we would get these big chunks.
Yeah, that doesn't look natural.
Right. So what this does is just shifts the colors, but leaves the black and white information, which is what you're really looking at there.
Cool.
So that's in Elements, it's a pretty
it's pretty
simple,
automated.
Yeah, and you
still want to know the color of the person's eye, I guess, though, because
you do. You can also go in here, and we can if I zoom in a little bit closer again, I can use the burn tool to darken it up a little bit if I want to. So it just depends on what you. If we go to midtones here, and I can darken his eyes a little bit if I if you need to.
Natural,
yeah, because it looked a little glowing, and then you can also
blue.
Yeah, you can also desaturate it a little bit.
That means taking color out.
Taking the color out, right? Okay. And so any automatic tools are automatic tools. They get you 90% of the way really fast, but the last 10% is really...
Because I just use iPhoto. I select it, and
it just goes.
It goes. And it's pretty close. In fact, I rarely had problems with it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how you would put that in Elements.
Now, let's see how we do it in the big boy.
In Photoshop.
In Professional. They don't have a red eye brush.
No, there's no red eye brush in Photoshop because they say, well, you guys are professionals.
You know what you're doing.
So this one requires a little bit of understanding of channels. Now, we've talked about channels before. So if we look at these layers here and we look at the channels, we've got a lot of red and it's white. Where it's red.
Yeah.
But if we look at the green and the blue, not so white because there's no red there.
Right.
So if we take
the red is pure red.
The red is pure red. And what happens is when something is really, really red, it means it doesn't have a lot of that information in the green or blue. So now if we take this channel and we copy it to another layer, and then I take the green and I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to hit Command or Control A, C, and then I'm just pasting that into the red channel.
Pasting the green on top of the red.
Move the green into the red channel. So now it looks a little, his eyes look fine.
Yeah, but the rest of them is kind of green.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a mask. So this is going to control the opacity of that layer. And I'm going to invert it because right now it's allowing everything to show through. But if I invert it, this black area, if I turn this off, it's gone. Okay. Because this says you can't see anything.
Oh, you're masking the entire green image out.
Completely out. But what I'm going to do is with a white here, I'm going to paintbrush back in that one little area.
Now, you don't have to be quite as fine as you would because you're actually just unmasking, right?
Right. So all I'm doing is unmasking that layer below it.
Oh, look at that. Now, see, that is a much better result.
And I have a lot more control, so I can go in, I can still go back to this image, and rather than doing the desaturate and everything else, I can continue to work on this image.
The color background.
So, like for instance, if I open up levels, let's just Command or
and that'll
Control
only
L,
change the eyes. Yeah.
make them a different kind of sight.
Now there's
there's
dog
the
eyes.
dog eyes. Yeah, exactly. So, so I can play with this to get it just the
So
way
this
I want
would
it.
work with the dog eyes pretty well, I think.
This, yeah, you just have to,
Yeah.
the dog eyes, they're pure white.
Right.
So that you don't have some channel that you can paste into
Oh,
it.
I
That's the
see.
problem.
Red
So-
is good. It's good
good.
that our eyes make it red.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Look at that.
So
that
there you
looks
go.
so natural.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
and it only takes a second.
So just to recap, you're going to duplicate the red layer.
Or you duplicate the green channel or the
green
blue channel,
channel.
whichever one you
Okay,
like
some
better,
other channel.
into the red channel.
And then you paste it into the red channel.
Yeah, but make sure you duplicate the layer.
Yeah.
And then in that new layer, you
Paste the red,
paste the green
channel.
into the red.
Yeah.
Then you mask it out.
Okay.
Just
for the eyes.
a black mask, and then you just paint in just where the eyes are. And then any adjustment I make to this image, it'll just keep on changing that.
That is, I mean, there's a lot more steps, but on the other hand, the result is very real.
And if you
very
do
natural.
if you do it a lot, if you had to do it a lot, you make an action out of it, and you
Right.
just hit go, and it gets you all the way to painting like that. You could have a keystroke.
Gee, I wish you'd put that action on the website. That'd be really handy to have. Could you do that?
I could do that.
All right. You can download somebody's action, right?
Yep, I can put an action up there, so we'll
All
get
right,
one up
we'll
there.
add that. All right, that's great. For more on today's Photoshop or any past tip, and to get this action, so if you're a Photoshop user, you just boom, visit our website techtv.com/call for help. No more red eyes. How come that doesn't happen in TV? How come my eyes aren't red in TV? Because the lights aren't shining. It's not bright.
It's got to go straight in.
It's got to be really bright.